There were never any adults in the room in quotes. The only real grown-ups in American politics are in the resistance. Really, the people, okay, Donald Trump is announcing, apparently, I don't know a whole lot about it, but half the troops from Afghanistan and a pullout of our troops in Syria. Sounds like a great thing to me. I don't know why we had troops in Syria to begin with, or let alone missile strike then. As many of you know, I am pretty much as like a lefty libertarian type. War is bad, but I'm not so dumb to outright say like. But the point is, let me put it this way: I understand why the U.S. does the things it does. I just don't like it. It's very complicated and it can be really scary. You've got people on the left now. I don't know if this article is exactly about this, but people on the left actually upset that Donald Trump has announced pulling troops out of Syria. In fact, there's one meme going around. It's it's a story by the same journalist. In April, he said, we shouldn't be in Syria and what Trump is doing, blah, blah, is wrong. Trump announces he's pulling out of Syria, and then he's like, this is the greatest gift to our enemies. Trump is wrong. And it's like, dude, we get it. The resistance doesn't have a plan. Their only talking point is Trump bad, right? Yeah, that doesn't work for me. Because right now, the Syria stuff pulling out, I like that idea. I like getting out of foreign countries we shouldn't have been in the first place. Why? It's a very complicated issue, but in my opinion, based on what happened in Syria with the Qatar-Turkey pipeline, it sounds like America's upset it can't get its way. So we got involved in foreign conflict because we want natural gas. It's complicated. I don't like it. We shouldn't be in Afghanistan. We shouldn't be in Iraq. It would be great if America stopped engaging in foreign war for the most part. So now you got Trump coming out. And he's apparently just like, you know what, let's get our troops back. And I'm like, wow, all right. I mean, and I will say this too, because this article it's an absurd premise to begin with. Apparently, there's like a far left activist website praising Trump right now. They've been consistently writing about how we shouldn't be in Syria or in the Middle East. When this announcement comes, they maintained their principled position. And it's like, wow, bravo. And it's like far left, so look, if you're part of the resistance or whatever, and Trump does something you like and you praise him, well, then I think you're setting yourself apart from the mob, right? The way I see this stuff, it's like everybody marching around with a torch. They have no idea what they're marching around for, and then someone keeps handing off torches, and people say, yeah, sure, I'm in, sure, why not? But let's see what Mr. Matthew Iglesias says at Vox about how the only real grown-ups in American politics are in the resistance. And the reason I bring up the war stuff, it's funny, he's talking about Mattis's resignation. Okay, so he says, James Mattis' decision to resign, complete with a strongly worded letter slamming Donald Trump, is not so much the end of adults in the room safeguarding the country from the president's worst instincts, as it is the end of the myth that there ever were any such adults. Okay. Oh my God. It is believed right now, Mattis is resigning essentially over Donald Trump's decision to pull out of Syria and reduce our presence in Afghanistan, both of which I believe are good things in the long run. However, I understand that there's a risk that without our presence there, theoretically, Russia or China or someone else can start getting a foothold and it could offset American dominance in the world. Yeah, I don't care. War bad. And I think we should be focusing strictly on defending ourselves and not doing what we were doing in the Middle East. Like, there's no reason for us to be in Afghanistan. Basically, it's like a proxy war between us and Russia. I think it's fair to say that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. But when WAPO, Washington Post, says that it's a great gift to our enemies, it's like, what is that supposed to mean? Are you implying that we are engaged in proxy wars on foreign land for resources? Yeah, I don't like those things. But what's funny here is, Mattis had like a statement where he said, the president basically should have somebody who agrees with his foreign policy. Vox is criticizing this. They're like, okay. Mattis was, after all, recommended to Trump in the first place because Obama had fired him for his reckless advocacy of military confrontation with Iran. Okay, so is it a good thing that he's resigning? Like, I don't understand. Why are you upset about this? Or I should say, maybe they're not necessarily criticizing the Mattis resignation. Maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic. They say, there's nothing wrong with quitting over a policy dispute that you feel strongly about, but that's all this was, a normal dispute within the range of the things reasonable people can disagree about. Wait, what? Vox, is your position that it's reasonable to disagree with bringing our troops home? Matt, you know what? There's a lot of people who are on the right who are very pro-war, for real. And they're making comments saying they disagree with Trump over this. I'm seeing articles pop up saying it's bad news. And we have Vox doing it too, because it's always like, for some reason, the establishment is always very pro-war. I don't know. It's not something I followed heavily, but there are some people I know who would track I should say their opinion is that whenever Trump would do something pro-war, all of a sudden there would be positive press about him. Like when Trump did the missile strike in Syria, all of a sudden there were articles saying like, "Is this Trump showing he's presidential?" And it's like, "Oh, is that all it took? Is that what we needed to do? We needed to bomb some foreign countries?" Yeah, not interested. They say at the end of the day, Mattis proved ineffective or uninterested in preventing shocking abuses of power and flagrant immorality, only to throw down a perfectly legitimate order from the commander-in-chief. Okay, that's weird, but all right. It's like Mattis is resigning because we believe that Trump wants to pull out of Syria and Afghanistan, and Vox just has to make sure, there is a criticism over the Trump administration for this. They say, while resigning sooner or something over something better would have been welcome, the notion that it could have been meaningfully improved outcomes. You know what? I'm going to say this. Like, I get the point, Vox. The point is no matter what you do, it's not good enough. No matter what you do. Like in the video I made on my main channel today, Sargon uses the language of his harassers, and then they all say, it's bad, you got to be banned. Sarah Jarn does the same thing, and it's fine. Apologizing does nothing. No matter what you do, it's never good enough. Here's Mattis saying, I disagree with you, Trump, I'm resigning. And they said, well, you should have resigned sooner. And it's like, dude, the dude's resigning because we're ending war. Like, I don't understand what Vox is trying to say here, you know? They said the Grumps never accomplished much. But, okay, so here we go. Here's the part we got to read. The real adults are in the resistance. Is that true? Trump is not experienced, naive, or in need of expert guidance. He's simply unfit for the presidency in ways that have always been clear. He lacks relevant subject matter knowledge, disposition to learn, empathy, respect for the rule of law, or comprehension of American values. My opinion actually wouldn't be too dissimilar to that statement, but I certainly think he takes it to a much more extreme end, right? Like, I have criticism of Trump and the things he's done, but I'm actually rather, like, I don't want to say I'm happy, but I'm very interested, and I feel it's a positive what we will be doing in the Middle East. In terms of like leaving there. We shouldn't have been there in the first place. It's weird for me to see this like an article attacking Trump over this issue from the left. They say, comprehension of American values. And in response, millions of people have over a period of years attended marches and rallies, contributed to and volunteered for campaigns, and otherwise added to the anti-Trump resistance. Those people are, so to speak, the adults in the room. The only ones trying to get an unfit president and his enablers out of office so they can be replaced by other more competent people. More competent people like who? Hillary Clinton? Hillary Clinton was in favor of escalation of war. This is what blows my mind as someone who is a effing liberal. When I was a teenager, I marched against foreign intervention. I have always opposed it, right? And I even understand, like, most people don't understand what China is doing, going into Africa, going to South America, oil exploration and expansion, and it's a serious issue that we're going to have to consider. I just don't like war, and I don't know what the solution is, but when I see something like this, I'm like, okay, maybe they can do something good. Maybe they can do something better. And one of the big problems is that on the debate stage, Hillary Clinton actually says, yeah, I understand, I'm calling for escalation, yes, so what? Like, I'm paraphrasing and being hyperbolic, but she effectively said she wanted a no-fly zone over Syria. Bad news. Then when Trump came out and fired those, 59 Tomahawk missiles at Syria, Trump supporters were pissed off. Like, yeah, no, Trump supporters were pissed because they don't want to see America doing this. And I'm sitting there going like, you know, as a social liberal lefty for my whole life, I am in agreement that this is a bad thing. I will criticize Trump over the commando raids, the weapons deal with Saudi Arabia. I am not going to criticize him over bringing our troops out of foreign countries where we shouldn't be in the first place. Yet there's always got to be some hit piece on the president, no matter what he does. And it's the weirdest thing to me now that you actually have people on the left criticizing Trump for doing this. Like, I just don't even know what's going on anymore. What is a liberal position, right? I can say I'm pro-choice, and the left says, no, you're not, you're conservative. I'm like, what? I agree with you on that policy position. Why now? Where's this conversation? I'd love to see the activists bring this up. They say, I don't think Mattis will, so in response, millions of people have, I don't think Mattis will join them after he retires, but I hope he does, and it's unquestionably true that his sternly worded resignation letter is a good start. They're happy that Mattis resigned over Trump bringing the troops home. More likely, though, He'll end up slinking off to wherever McMaster and Rex Tillerson hang out to quietly burnish his own reputation. That would be too bad. Because of the basic dynamics of partisan politics, the resistance is dominated by progressive types who are instinctively alienating to people with conservative worldviews. Hearing the truth about Trump from people like Mattis could play a very constructive political role, but as window dressing, Mattis and all other grown-ups were playing a destructive role. So, okay, I'm really confused by what Vox is trying to convey here. They're upset. They don't like Mattis. They haven't liked him from the get-go. They wanted him to resign sooner, and now they're mad that he resigned because Trump is pulling our troops, out, presumably. So what's the issue? They say that's a convenient rational. His role in the Trump administration was fundamentally similar. Say you're a CEO who feels conflicted about the Trump administration. On one hand, the fact that he's in office helps make you richer pre-tax through. I don't get it, Vox. How about this? Can you please just write an article saying Maddox's resignation over what Trump is doing is absurd, but we understand. Look, I'll say this: resign by all means. You don't like what Trump is doing? There you go, get out. But if like you want to write a hit piece about what's going on in the administration and claim there's no adults in the room, I can't help but feel like Vox is not happy. They're not happy that our troops are coming back, and that's weird, isn't it? Isn't the left anti-war? No, they're not. We know they're not. They love this stuff. I don't know, man. Neoliberal is like the new neocon, right? The pro-war, pro-capitalist. But now they're doing. You know what? Isn't that interesting? The neoliberal social justice types in favor of the war, in favor of the mega corporations. Private businesses can do whatever they want. They have an ideology backing them. It sounds so much like the neocons of 20 years ago. I don't know, whatever. This is a weird video. I don't even know what's going on at this point. But I'm over it. I'm confused. I'm confused by all of it. This was a waste of time.